Good morning. I pray that your Tuesday was filled with spaces and places of joy, of peace, of happiness. I just got out the pool and it's windy today, so I'm not going to be here long. The last video I did when I talked about sharing, my daughter's comment was, Barney said, sharing is caring. Well, I wonder what Barney said about being considerate. So this is another pool situation. So in the locker room, there are a lot of showers. There's probably about 7 or 8 of them, but there's a whole lot more people. And they have maybe 5 dressing rooms. And then they have benches if you choose, to get dressed like that. But one of the rules that's not by the pool, but by our program, and it's also an unspoken rule, and it's also just consideration, is before you get in the shower, don't put your things in the dressing room, because while you're showering, somebody could be using that space. And by the time you come out, they will be coming out. So it's kind of like a constant rotation. And for the most part, most people follow that rule. But today, I came out and I had a dressing room. It was empty, but I noticed that there was a coat in a dressing area, and there was no person. There was nothing else except for a coat. So my first thought was somebody left their coat, and that still could be a possibility. But as I was getting dressed, I saw this lady who came up, and mind you, I'm in my dressing room now with the curtain closed, and I heard her say, "Oh, somebody's coat, I can't go in there." So I said to her, "Why don't you just hang the coat up on a hook so that you can go ahead and use the changing area?" So I actually prayed the person maybe forgot their coat, but again, it's really windy, so how do you forget your coat? So I suspect they were probably taking a shower and trying to kind of hold that space for them. And the point of this is that's not very considerate, because there's only a finite amount of changing areas, and there is a whole lot more people. So we take turns. We try to be considerate. And I also thought about another place, just in public areas. I'm really thinking about public areas, is when you go to a parking lot. Have you ever experienced this? You go to a place and you're looking for a parking space, and you see someone get into their car, and then you stop because you're waiting for them to come out, and then all of a sudden they get on their phone, they start doing all kinds of things, and that's okay, except for they know that you're waiting, because they look at you and they continue doing what they're doing. And you could say, well, there's other parking spaces, and this is probably true if there are, but what about if it's a crowded parking lot, which most of them are nowadays? If you make eye contact, consideration is to say, mimic, I'm not ready to come out. Then the person's not waiting. That's called being considerate. So I'd be interested in knowing from you, what do you consider consideration? How do you, what situations kind of make you go, when you feel like people are not being considerate? And let's talk about ways that we can be more considerate. Love you all. I'm getting really, really cold, so I'm going to sign off. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.